Hello, folks. Welcome to my channel. My name is Rico. I hope everyone is doing well today. And today I would like to delve into Filipino folklore, superstitions, and myths. All right, let's begin. The Philippines has a rich cultural background and a diverse spectrum of influences, so myths, folklore, and superstitions are common. Many of these beliefs stem from long-standing local customs, Spanish Catholicism, and indigenous animism. These tales continue to have an impact on Filipino culture and daily life, ranging from bizarre customs believed to ward off evil or provide good luck to terrifying legendary animals. Here, we look at some of Philippines' most weird and fascinating myths, superstitions, and folklore. Number one, Aswang, the shape-shifting monster. In the Philippines, the Aswang is perhaps the most infamous legendary creature. It is typically represented as a vampire like creature with the ability to shapeshift to resemble a dog, pig, or bird. According to mythology, the Aswang feeds on pregnant women and unborn children by sucking the fetus from the mother's womb using its long, snake like tongue. The beast is feared throughout the country, particularly in the Visayas region. Number two, Tikbalang, the trickster horseman. A Tikbalang is a humanoid creature with a man's body and a horse head. It has a reputation for misdirecting travelers, causing them to become disoriented in rural or forested areas. Some believe that dressing with your clothes inside out will break the Tikbalang spell. Some think that riding a Tikbalang like a wild horse will turn it into a faithful protector. Number three, Mananagal, the flying torso. The mananagal is a scary animal that splits its upper and lower bodies at night and grows bat like wings to fly around and hunt prey. It is known to target pregnant women, much like the aswang. Finding a mananagal's abandoned lower half and sprinkling it with salt or vinegar will kill it before sunrise since it will be unable to reconnect. Number four, Tianak, the demon baby. According to mythology, a Tianak is the enraged spirit of an unbaptized newborn that transforms into a horrible creature. It cries like a defenseless baby in the middle of the forest to seduce unsuspecting victims. When picked up, the Tianak takes on its true form, attacking and occasionally killing its victim. According to some stories, the Tianak was an infant who died before being properly buried. Number 5. Pagpag. Never go home directly from a wake. Filipinos feel that one shouldn't go straight home after attending a wake or funeral. To dispel any ghosts that may have followed them, they should first make a stop somewhere like a store or a friend's residence. This pagpag, meaning to shake off technique, keeps bad luck and misfortune out of the house. Number 6. Sukab. No two weddings in one family within a year. According to this belief, marrying two brothers or close cousins in the same year brings bad luck to the couple or family. This concept, known as sukab, is so widespread that some families actively avoid having weddings in the same year or schedule them far apart. Number 7. Sweeping at night brings bad luck. Filipinos believe that sweeping the floor at night removes riches and good fortune. This superstition is founded on the belief that cleaning, particularly at night, can cause blessings in the home to disappear. Number 8. Knocking on wood to ward off evil. Many Filipinos knock on wood after mentioning bad luck or tragedy, believing that this prevents horrible things from happening. This habit is supposed to have originated among ancient animists who believed that spirits live in trees and that banging on them will protect them. Number 9. Oro Plata Mata. Counting steps and staircases. Some Filipinos design their homes using the Oro Plata Mata rule, which translates to gold, silver, death. According to this superstition, the number of steps on a staircase should never end on mata, death, as this will bring misfortune or calamity to the residents. Number 10. The White Lady of Balete Drive. According to a popular ghost story in the Philippines, the White Lady of Balete Drive is the spirit of a white woman who is frequently seen hitchhiking or appearing unexpectedly in passing cars' rearview mirrors. Some suggest she was murdered nearby, while others believe she was a victim of a horrific accident. Number 11. The Vanishing Hitchhiker. This story, based on the white girl myth, tells about a beautiful young girl who seeks a ride home, but she mysteriously vanishes as the automobile approaches the destination. Her ghost, according to locals, is that of a woman who died in a car accident and still stalks the roads at night. Number 12. The Myth of Maria McKillin. According to tradition, Maria Maquillan, a well known Dewata, fairy, or divinity, lives atop Mount Maquillan. She is considered to be a beautiful woman who protects the mountain and its natural resources. While some versions of her story describe a tragic love affair, others depict her providing food and blessings to destitute neighbors. And number 13, the curse of Mangkukalam. Filipino witches and sorcerers known as Mangkukalam are believed to bind people with hexes and spells. It is thought that disturbing a Mangkukalam can lead to death, bad luck, or inexplicable illnesses. The only way to remove a curse is to seek the help of an albulario, traditional healer, who can utilize herbal treatments and prayers to counteract the enchantment. Here are some general superstitions. Many Filipino superstitions have an impact on many aspects of daily life, including birth and marriage, death, and reverence for invisible creatures. These beliefs are commonly used as behavioral guidelines to bring good fortune and keep ill luck at bay. Sibling marriages in the same year are outlawed under a popular superstition known as sukob, because they are thought to divide the luck between the two marriages. Similarly, it is bad to marry in the same year that a member of your immediate family dies. Another wedding superstition states that the bride should not try on her dress before the wedding since it is considered unlucky and may cause the wedding to be cancelled. Superstitions around wakes and death are particularly widespread. To ward off the spirit of the deceased and prevent it from following you home, it is customary to pagpag or delay going straight home after attending a wake. Furthermore, it is customary for the deceased family to say goodbye to guests at the door rather than at their own death, indicating that they are not dropping them off. Visitors should also avoid taking food from wakes home, since it is said to bring ill luck into the home. A lot of Filipinos believe that elementals or nature spirits should be revered. It is customary to say tabi tabi po, excuse me, when passing through sites where these critters are thought to live, such as anthills or balate trees, to avoid upsetting them. If this is not done, only a folk healer or albulario will be able to treat an unexplained sickness. A condition known as usag or bati is said to be induced by an overwhelming quantity of love for babies. When complimenting a youngster, elders frequently use the word porera usag to balance it. The person who complimented the child may be asked to apply their saliva to the child's forehead as a treatment if the youngster falls ill and usag is suspected. Filipinos sometimes blame playful elves or duendes for vanishing objects that suddenly reappear about the house. Although these animals are usually thought to be harmless, some are thought to kidnap young children. The chant Oro Gold, Plata Silva, Meta Death shall accompany each step of a staircase, and its number should not be divisible by three. The goal is to avoid ending with mata, which indicates bad luck. Oro or plata means good fortune. It is believed that rotating one's plate when someone leaves in the middle of eating ensures their safe departure. Another superstition states that the last person to eat will live a lonely life, hence, it is banned to clear the table while others are still seated. When knocking on a door, Filipinos typically say tao, person, po. This serves to reassure the occupants that the knocker is a person, not a scary supernatural entity, in addition to proclaiming one's presence. It is common to serve pancit noodles at celebrations, especially birthdays, as a symbol of longevity. Even though some Filipinos mock the concept, pancit remains a staple of practically every birthday celebration. Depending on the locale, a girl's first menstruation is associated with a variety of bizarre beliefs. One common misunderstanding is that acne and pimples can be prevented by wiping the face with blood-stained underpants during the first menstrual period. Some believe that dysmenorrhea can be avoided by staying indoors throughout the first menstrual cycle and avoiding thoughts of discomfort. It is also thought that avoiding odorous things and avoiding three-stair steps may help to regulate the menstrual cycle. There are superstitions about money and business that are often associated with luck and blessings. For luck, stores or workplaces should face the dawn. Because 7 is associated with sacrifice and bad luck, withdrawing money that only contains the number 7 is not recommended. 700,000, 70,000, 700, etc. Throwing or passing money, whether coins or paper money, is also considered disrespectful because it brings misfortune. Students preparing for board or bar exams may follow some superstitions on occasion. It is believed that wearing red underwear will bring good luck. It is thought that lightly kicking the chair before passing the paper will allow you to pass the test on your first try. Numerology related Kabbalah influences everything from event dates to names. Seven is considered a number of sacrifice, hence, a person's name should not be seven. Kabbalah should also be considered while relocating to a new home and selecting a wedding date, taking into account the number of turns, location, time, and moon phase. Superstitions are common at weddings. To prevent cancellation, the prospective bride should not try on her dress prior to the wedding. The couple should refrain from crying or becoming wet because these things represents instability and a strained marriage. The best man is usually tasked with making sure the groom doesn't take anything from the bride. To guarantee a submissive husband, the bride may covertly step on the groom's foot. For good fortune and a happy marriage, the couple should refrain from speaking to each other the day before the wedding. Prosperity is represented by the cake's layers. For good fortune, the couple's first meal should be served on special plates. For the couple to live a long life together, the candles lit during the ritual must stay lit. Before the couple enters the rich reception hall, parents should shower them with rice. To ensure that he becomes the family's major provider, the groom should accompany his wife from the main door to their bed following the wedding. Superstitions surrounding pregnancy and childbirth are also prevalent. To complete the palina, a cleansing food negation technique, pregnant women should note their dietary demands. Pregnant women are advised to avoid negative pictures in order to prevent their unborn kid from resembling them. It is hypothesized that dimples form when the umbilical cord is gently rubbed on the baby's cheeks after birth. To prevent excessive hair loss, the lady should avoid brushing her hair for a month after giving birth. To avoid bug hot or recurrence, she should refrain from bathing for a month. For a tranquil mind, the baby's first haircut must be thrown into a running river. The infant must be fed with dove brain before the age of 2 months in order to enhance intellect. Brushing your hair should only be done during the day to avoid cursing your parents and making them sick. It is fine to sweep the floor in the evening, but to avoid sweeping away good fortune and blessings, trash should not be thrown outside. The plate can be turned to protect the safety of those who need to depart during a meal. Cutting your hair is an invitation to misery, misfortune, and bad luck. Giving a coin to the person who gave you shoes will prevent them from stepping on you again. Giving the masseuse a coin guarantees healing because massages are never free. Paying off debts is critical to avoiding a cycle of tragedy and bad luck. Someone making odd and trivial requests could be a sign that they are about to die. An illuminating aura around someone could also indicate nearing death. Wishing for a specific way to die is forbidden, as life may end in the opposite manner. It is said that making loud noises to welcome the new year, such as fireworks or loud devices, drives evil away. Having coins in your pockets brings luck and wealth. Tubo, tahas, grow taller is claimed to assist children to grow taller when you gently grasp their head. Philippine mythology is a rich tapestry of stories and beliefs that seek to explain the origins of the planet, human existence, and the most profound mysteries of life. With roots in the Philippines' indigenous folk religions, it has amalgamated parts of Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, and Hindu traditions, resulting in a rich and diverse tapestry of stories. In the Philippines, myth contains stories about heroes, gods, known as Anito or Diwata, and a broad range of legendary creatures. Spiritual leaders such as shamans, Babaylan, Katolonan, Mombaki, Baglan, Manchinitu, Walian, Mangubat, and Bahasa, and community elders have passed down these stories traditionally. Philippine mythology is developed from two main sources: oral tradition and written literature. Folk literature, also known as oral literature, consists of stories passed down orally or via song over many generations. This is how Philippine mythology evolved, with stories originally evolving and spreading throughout time. Despite several attempts to memorialize these encounters, many of them remain undocumented. Christian mythology was introduced during the 16th century Spanish colonization, which deliberately disrupted native rituals. Examples of this influence include the Biang ni Lam Hang and the Tale of Bernardo Carpio, in which characters were given Spanish names and other features. However, in the 21st century, young people have developed a strong interest in oral literature, which has been encouraged by books, radio, television, and social media. Philippine mythology can also be found in written works. The customs of the Tagalog people were documented in Juan de Plasencia's Relación de las Costumbres de los Tagalos, 1589. This corpus of work also included Pedro Chirino's Relación de las Islas Filipinas, 1604, and Miguel de Lojarcas' Relación de las Islas Filipinas. Anitism books from the 16th to the 21st centuries have been published by universities around the country, including Mindanao State University, University of San Carlos, University of the Philippines, Ateneo Universities, Silliman University, and University of the Cordilleras, as well as publishers such as Anvil Publishing. Unpublished sources include master's and college theses. Because stories vary from town to town, even within the same ethnic group, it is important to note that written literature does not provide definitive interpretations of any single narrative. Specifics differ depending on area, race, story origin, and cultural development. Examples include the Bakunawa, Seven Moons, and Tambanucano. Indigenous faiths in the Philippines emerge as a result of multiple trade routes and migrations. According to the Out of Taiwan model, Austronesians moved from the mainland Asia to Taiwan, then to the Philippines, and lastly to other islands. These Austronesians are supposed to have imported animist ideas such as tattooing, ancestor worship, totemism, and shamanism, establishing beliefs in both good and malevolent spirits. Between 200 and 300 CE, migrants and traders brought Hindu mythology to the Philippines. Native epics such as Ibalong, Side, and Inulawud, as well as folk tales and superstitions that blended with native polytheistic beliefs, were among the Indianized customs introduced to Hinduism. The concept of good and bad demons, which is ubiquitous in Indian societies, grew significantly. These demons were taught to represent both good and evil. Hindu rituals and ideals were absorbed into indigenous religions rather than displacing them. Along with many belief systems, humanoid mythical beings, gender variant deities, and shamans were common. Around 900 CE, Chinese influence began to permeate in some places, introducing Buddhist and Sunified belief systems, the most noteworthy of which was the belief in ghosts. By 1300 CE, Muslim traders had introduced Islamic myths and belief systems to the southern Philippines, resulting in numerous conversions in both the southern and western regions. The Spanish arrived in the middle of the 16th century with Ibero-American Christian mythology, but most islanders were resistant because the Spanish desired to conquer the islands rather than simply introduce traditions. The Spanish launched a 3-century-long cleanse of indigenous faiths, suppressing and insulting local cultures, replacing polytheistic beliefs with monotheism, and retrofitting existing myth and folklore. During the Philippine Revolution, attempts were made to resurrect indigenous folk faiths and establish them as the official state religion. Conflicts with the Americans, however, eclipsed these ideas and eventually led to war. The United States' control of the country in the late 19th century resulted in more Christian conversions. While the many ethnic groups in the Philippines have regional distinctions, they also have commonalities. For example, the creation tales of the Bicolano and Visayan tribes feature similar events, but their deities are called differently. In Tagalog, Kapangpangan, and Sambal mythology, deities named Mayari, Malayari, and Apong Malayari are prevalent. The moon deity Bulan and the serpent deity Bukanawa appear in Ilugainon, Karai a Cebuano, and Bicolano mythology. Tabanokano are moon swallowing creatures from Mandaya and Manobo mythology. Mandaya depicts them as crabs, while Manobo depicts them as tarantulas or scorpions. Bukalano mythology has the foe deities Gugurang and Aswang, while Ilongainon mythology features Aguran and Aswang, the Ibuloy, Bantok, and Ifugoi peoples' myths all mentions a deity by the name of Kabunian. Despite their shared characteristics, the gods, heroes, and animals do not form a cohesive plot. Each story has multiple variations, and even within the same ethnic group, stories differ from one region to the next. The Philippines' 7,000 islands are grouped into three primary regions: Mindanao, Visayas, and Luzon. Rather than location, ethnic group determines the disparities in mythologies and belief systems. Certain ethnic groups are concentrated in a few towns, while others are distributed throughout entire provinces. In the Philippines, Buddhism and Hinduism have had a great impact. Creation myths, also known as cosmology, explain how the universe and mankind came to be. Every ethnic group has a unique Genesis story, and some ethnic groups have multiple versions depending on their location and lifestyle. According to Bagabo mythology, Pamulak Manobo created the land, the sea, and the first humans, so creating the world. He throws water from the sky, causing rain, and spits out showers. The sun created the yellow clouds that make up the rainbow's color, and the white clouds are smoke from the god's fire. Bicolano mythology contained only two entities, the sky and the sea. When the sky deity Languit's grandchildren sought to attack the sky world, Languit smote them down with lightning. Bituan was also unintentionally struck by Languit's lightning, although not being involved in the disturbance. The two elder gods illuminated the bodies of their deceased grandchildren, while the sea goddess Tubigan comforted Languit. Bituan's body became the stars, Bulan's body became the moon, and Aldal's or Adlaal's body created the sun. Without the light, Daga's body became the earth. According to one version of Bisaya mythology, islands were formed when a sacred bird of prey caused the sea and sky to compete for a landing spot. According to another tale, the gods Kapton and Magawayan or Magayan fought until the gigantic bird Manuel flung stones at them, transforming them into islands. According to another legend, Magayan's daughter, the sea goddess Lidagat, married Kapton's son, the wind deity Lihagin, and they had children. The supreme deity became angered when three of these deities, commanded by Likalibutan, fought Kapton. Kapton accidentally struck Lisuga when she was looking for her brothers. Kapton and Magayan's four grandkids were killed. After having cooled down, Kapton accused Magayan of a coup and the two gods lamented their grandchildren. Lihadlahao's corpse was turned into the sun, Libulan's into the moon, Lisugas into the stars, and the malevolent Likalibutan into the dismal earth. A bamboo tree thrived at the birthplaces of the first man, Sikala, and the first woman, Sikabai. According to Blahan legend, the deity Melu rubbed his skin until it was entirely white, leaving a great amount of dead skin. Out of frustration, he fashioned the earth from dead skin. According to Bukidnon legend, the supreme god Mangbabaya created the earth after discovering that there was nothing but absence. Initially, he established 8 elements: Tumbanga, bronze; Bulawan, gold; Salapi, coins; Batu, rocks; Gaban, clouds; Yulan, rain; Putha, iron; and Tubik, water. He created the sea, sky, moon, and stars from these elements. Another story holds that Mangbabaya, also known as Dewata na Mangbabaya, and the god Dadanhayan Ha Sugay co-created the earth. Prior to establishing humanity, the two gods created the Encantus a group of six guardian deities with both good and negative attributes who can cause calamities if enraged. According to Iloid mythology, the sky world and underworld were the first to exist. A guy from the underworld shot an arrow at the sun god as the people on either side fought. The sun deity then formed the earth by pulling the sky world upward and the underworld downward. According to Ilocano mythology, the supreme deity commanded Angelo and Aran, two primordial giants, to build the universe. Anglahao, also known as Angelo, formed mountains by excavating the earth, rivers, and oceans by peeing into ground holes, and the sky, sun, moon, and stars. According to Kapampangan mythology, the sky, earth, planets, and stars existed before land arrived. The earth was formed from stones thrown by warring deities during a battle over the beautiful daughter of the supreme deity, Mangashai. In memory of her beloved daughter, who died in war, Mangashai created life on earth. Manobo mythology includes multiple separate creation tales. According to a myth from Talakugan in Agusan Valley, the god Makalingdong created the universe by placing it on iron poles. Another story from the Argawan and Ibong rivers says that the creation goddess Daga created the earth. According to another higher Agusan myth, when humans upset the gods, they shake the world's center, which resembles a massive mushroom. According to Manuvu mythology, the universe began in a formless void. The gods that assisted the creator, Manama or Sigalungan, were created. He built a structure out of two steel bars before removing his fingernails and shaping them into the earth. According to Panay mythology, the globe was shapeless at the start. The earth, sky, and water were intermingled. The gods Tungong, Langit, and Alungsina emerged from the shapeless mist, married, and settled on the highest plane of infinite space. Tungkong Langit once pushed Alusina away after they fought and she was injured. In his loneliness, Tungong Langit created the land and sea, as well as the sun, moon, and stars from his wife's jewels. In spite of this, Alunsina decided to stay free and never return to Tongong Langit. Salonon mythology began with only the sky and Lenore, a great expanse of water. The abrupt appearance of the primordial giants Laki and Bayi caused many things to form. The primordial earthworm that disintegrated the earth was captured by the creation giantess Bayi, who also gave birth to the wild animals that today inhabit the globe. According to Tagalog tradition, the sea and heaven fought for a sacred kite. After building a nest on one of the islands formed by the pebbles thrown into the water by the sky, the kite abandoned both the sea and the sky. In the beginnings of Tedorai mythology, there was only the sky and the sea, while his sister Sinongal lived in Bango, the land of the dead. Suala, also known as Tullus god, lived in the sky. The first Tedorai was born when Suala visited the sun's palace and touched one of the eight primordial wooden Kenenen Tao statues. The first lady was made from a man's rib. When Mentalalan, the couple's child, became ill, the man resorted to Suwala for help. Suwala supplied the father a unique medicine, but before he could administer it to his son, a demon sent by Singal changed it, killing Mentalalan. Suwala convened a meeting of his four brothers, Mental, Mikael, Mentlalfis, and Hosman Ali, to purchase soil from the Navi. Colina, Suala established the earth as the center of the universe. Mentalalan was finally covered as the dirt grew. Crops grew out of the boy's body. Sinongal hurled her comb in wrath, and it transformed into the first boar intended to consume the crops. The concept of realms is based on earth, heaven, and hell, as are the majority of myths or religions around the world. Both of these concepts can be found in Philippine mythology. However, the country's understanding of heaven may locate it in the underworld and hell in the sky world. These variances are due to cultural parallelism and diffusion. In Bagobo mythology, the gods live in the sky world, which contains various kingdoms ruled by lesser deities. Numerous Kampilan swords that battle without a wielder can be found at the sky world's entrance.
In the underworld known as Gimakudan, spirits with significant offenses are consumed by fire, while those with slight transgressions lie in an acid that burns like lemon juice and causes blisters on their bodies. Children that died at their mother's breasts are banished to Banua Mebuyan, an underworld subrealm located beside a black river. Mebuyan, the many breasted goddess, nourishes their souls. After graduating from Banua Mebuyan, children's souls join those of individuals who perish from disease in another dimension. Before arriving in Gimokudan, every soul passes through Banua Mebuyan, another nether location where vegetation is the color of blood and scars remain with the spirit is dedicated to those who were slaughtered with swords or spears. According to Batak mythology, the Batak people's ancient home is Kabatakan, the world's middle fourth layer. The fourth tier, the core of the universe, seven tiers, Lukap, is surrounded by oceans and is home to violent entities, animals, plants, humans, and superhumans. All evil Panya N originated on Huyak, the most sacred peak in the area. The divinities Bai Bai, goddess and master of rice, and Unga, god and master of bees, are considered to have originated on the Gunai Gunai, which is located at the edge of the universe. The skies and oceans were the first objects to appear in Bicolano mythology. The sun, moon, stars, and earth were formed from the bones of Languits, deceased grandchildren after divine tumult against him. The world is supported by an unidentified giant whose finger movements cause earthquakes. The world would end if the giant's body moved. According to Basai mythology, the first of seven strata of the universe is empty and uninhabited. The second is Tibognon, a watery world ruled by sea fairies and mermaids. Idol Monon, the third stratum, is home to underground spirits and houses the earth's intestines. Humans and other supernatural beings live in Lupan, the fourth layer. The fifth stratum, known as the atmosphere of Kahaginan, is home to flying species such as the Bentohagian and Hobart races. Ibaba Nun, the sixth layer, is home to distinct Babaylons who use spirits to intercede for humanity. The universe founder, Mako Hako, lives in Langinon, the final and highest tier. These seven strata fall into three groups: the sky world realms of Kahin, Wayan, which are governed by Kaptan, the human middle world, Kamari Tayan, which is governed by Sidipa and Makaptan, and the lower world realms of Kasakitan, which are governed by Magyan and Sompoi. The god Sisiboranin is in charge of the distinctive sub-realm known as Kanitu Nituhan in Kasakitan. According to Bakidnon folklore, the Bangtin is a tiny spherical area that is initially dazzling and encircled by a holy rainbow. Dawita na Magbabaya use resources from Dandahayan Ha Sugay to create the realm known as Haldan Ta Paraiso, Garden of Paradise. The Agtayuban spread its wings in the garden. Only three of the seven strata in the upper world and underworld are distinguishable. Both the sky and the middle world have a saucer form. In Ibaloid mythology, the sky world and underworld were in close proximity. This was changed after a conflict between the two groups, in which an underworld man used an arrow to strike the sun deity. The sun god separated the two kingdoms by moving them apart. Later, Earth was designated as the middle world. Daya and Lagud were the first two mythological planets in Ifugao mythology. Lagud is upstream west, while Daya is downstream east. Later on, this thought grew into a multi-layered view of the universe. Daya's four strata, Udog, Laktog, Ubalang. Daya's four strata, Udog, Luktag, Ubalang, and Kabunian, form the upper world. The deity Lidog, the deity Lidom, who communicated directly to mankind on behalf of the gods of the upper layers of the upper world, lives in Kabunian, the lower level of the upper world. It is thought that the lower surface of each kingdom is made of smooth blue stone, while the upper layer is earthy and covered in farms and gardens. Because the upper world and lower world shrink as they approach the end of the celestial globe, the middle world, also known as the mortal world and located directly beneath the Carbonian layer, has the universe's largest diameter. The souls of those dead go to Dalum, the lowest level of the lower world, with an unknowable number of layers. Ultimately, the concept of a layer cosmos transformed Lagud into a some realm in the Far East. According to Ilocano mythology, the giant Anglahao created the sky, sun, moon, stars, rivers, oceans, and mountains under the authority of an unspecified supreme deity. Lobo, the gigantic dog, guards the underworld. According to Kalinga mythology, the universe resembles a vast plate, the earth, supported by a smaller dome, the sky. The ring of solid, impenetrable sky is 3 meters thick. According to Kakanae mythology, the lower world is sustained by four massive posts that transport to the middle world. Every time a large hog scrapes against one of the poles, it causes an earthquake. Cannibals inhabit the lower world, known as Aduangan. According to Kapampangan mythology, the country was founded during the gods' conflict, which was spurred by the beauty of the divine daughter of Kapampangan, supreme deity Mangachai. The sky, earth, planets, and stars existed before that. The gods live on faraway planets and spend hundreds of years traveling between them. According to Monobo mythology, the god Makanligong, who lives in the center with a python, built the world using iron poles. The rounded sky ends at the sea's edge, or the sea navel, where the seas rise and fall. Each Monobo nation has a specific location in the underworld, which is divided into regions beneath the earth's pillars. There are sections for various tribes and for foreign peoples. According to Mandaya folklore, a legendary woman compresses the flat earth into mountains. The ground is sustained by a gigantic eel, which, when disturbed, causes earthquakes. Maranoa mythology describes the world as being divided into 7 levels. The earth and sky are made up of 7 layers. Humans, caravans, and a sea layer inhabited by nymphs are all discovered among the earth levels. A Garuda watches over each sky stratum's entry. Heaven is the 7th tier of the sky, where the tree of life grows and all surviving people's names are inscribed on its leaves. A person dies when their leaf ripens, dries, and falls. There are jars in one portion of heaven that contains the souls of all living things. The frightening beast Wallow guards this jar area. According to Palaahan mythology, the earthly cosmos consists of 7 stacked plates connected by a central pole. Humans inhabit the center of the 4th plate. Salonon mythology describes the universe as consisting of 3 kingdoms. Ibubanon, the upper world, is divided into 2 realms, one for female deities and another for male deities. The Earth's location, Pagtonghan, is in the middle world. The souls of the deceased are held in Idaldamonan, or the lower world. At first, there was only the sky and Lena, a body of water. Bayi, the creation giantess, realized that the earthworm's waste was what formed Earth. The upper world, known as Kaluwalhatian in Tagalog mythology, is inhabited by gods from the port of Bathala, the highest Tagalog deity. The middle world is home to several mythological races, other gods, and mankind. The spirits of virtuous mortals move to Maka, while those of sinful mortals travel to Kasanahan, the 2 places that comprise the underworld. The underworld is home to deities, most notably Sitan and his 4 agents. The sacred Tigmaman Nukan Omen creatures are plentiful in Batala, a rising mountain kingdom in the middle world. In Tagbawa mythology, the underworld and the earthworld are diametrically opposed. Day is day in the underworld and vice versa. In conclusion, Filipino folklore, superstitions, and myths are a complex blend of oral traditions, religious influences, and indigenous beliefs that continue to shape how many Filipinos perceive the world. Some of these stories serve as warnings about danger, while others are intended to entertain, educate, or instill values. These unusual beliefs on superstitions persist in Filipino society despite industrialization and technological advancements, making the Philippines a mysterious and mystical country. All right, folks, that is all for today's show. If you have any questions or comments, please comment down below. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a good day.